In this video, I'm going to show you the Lyft driver requirements for New York City. First off, I do have to state, driving in New York City, the sign-up process, by far the most complicated, in my opinion, out of any city I've seen yet. So let's go down here. Let's start with the driver requirements and then go to the vehicle. So first off, you need a valid driver's license. Pretty self-explanatory. Temporary or out-of-state licenses are also acceptable, as long as you have a current TLC, which is the Taxi and Limousine Commission for hire license. So second point, going along with that, you need a TLC driver's license. Valid for hire vehicle license or a medallion FHV license are also acceptable. 18 or older, which is kind of misleading, and I'll explain why in a second. But it's kind of misleading in my opinion. But the good thing about New York, which is really interesting, a lot of cities in America, for whatever reason, when it comes to Lyft, you have to be 25 or older. So on one end, at least the age requirement for Lyft is a lot lower. So let's say if you're going to college, or let's say you just graduated high school, it's a lot lower, which is great. But on the other end, you have to do a lot more stuff, for lack of a better word, for New York City. And then, of course, you need a smartphone that can download and run the Lyft driver app. With all this being said, though, let's talk about the TLC driver's license. That's by far the biggest hurdle when it comes to driving. So going here, you can see you need to get a TLC driver's license. I already kind of went over this, that if you do happen to have a current for hire vehicle license or a medallion for hire vehicle license, that's also acceptable. But this is where I say it's misleading about the age. Let's talk about just the eligibility requirements first for the TLC. As you can see, to obtain a TLC driver's license, you must be at least 19 years of age. But going here, you can be 18 or older. So I hate to say it, it seems like you're going to have to be 19 years or older. I know that's only 1 year, but just something to keep in mind. You have to have a social security number. Probably not surprising there. Have no more than 6 points on your DMV license within 15 months from the date of your most recent violation. No outstanding fines, tickets, or parking violations. I have mentioned before in a bunch of other videos, but to be more specific on this one, remember, not surprising, especially when it comes to ride sharing in this day and age, they will run two different types of checks. One is a background check in terms of a criminal background check, but they will also run a background check on your driving history. So this is something that you do have to keep in mind. It's also kind of surprising. I guess maybe in some ways it is and not at the same time. You can't have an outstanding fine. So let's say you got a parking ticket, very common in New York, and you forgot about it, or let's say you haven't paid it yet, and you go to sign up, you might have an issue with that. So keep in mind, you have to have pretty much a fairly clean record for the most part. And then you have to do this, the TLC driver's license checklist. So a bunch of stuff here. You have to complete the license application, upgrade your license to a Class E or commercial driver's license for like a CDL if you want to go down that route, take the defensive driving and WAV courses, take the 24-hour TLC driver education course, complete your TLC driver's license exam, complete a drug test, get fingerprinted, obtain a TLC medical exam, and then upload the documents of all of this. So this is, I gotta be honest, a lot of work just to get the TLC driver's license. With that being said, now let's talk about the vehicle. So all vehicle requirements in New York are governed by the TLC. It needs to be 2007 or newer with approved TLC inspection. So it seems like about 15 or 16 years old or newer, 4 doors, 5 to 8 seats, including the driver's, New York or New Jersey license plate. It's pretty unique, I'd say, to New York, because most states say you have to have that in-state plate, and then not on the list of ineligible subcompact vehicles. One thing I will say about this, which is why I want to kind of save it to the second point, is remember you can rent a car. So let's say you're like, all right, this all sounds good, but my car doesn't qualify, or let's say you don't have a car at all, you can always rent one through Lyft's Express Drive. And then lastly, let's go down here to the document requirements. FH1 vehicle insurance issued by the New York DMV. I also suggest look into getting rideshare insurance and look over all of that just in case. You might be able to get like a unique package when it comes to New York or something along these lines, but it's not a bad idea just to do extra research to see if you can get extra rideshare insurance if it does help given your current insurance policy. Then you need a TLC vehicle inspection, New York State Vehicle Registration, Certificate of Liability Insurance, and then lastly, and the easiest of them all, a driver profile photo. With all that being said, you may be wondering, well, is it worth it? I mean, it seems like a lot of work, and I'm not going to lie, compared to pretty much any other city, it is. But let's talk about the numbers. So based off the analytics from sidehustle.com, they state that on average, you will make about $23 an hour as a rideshare driver in New York. So that's a good kind of number to think about. To some people, they might be like, you know what? That's actually not too bad. Remember, all the benefits of driving for Lyft. One, it's a flexible schedule. Definitely the most flexible compared to any other job. So let's say you want to do it primarily as your main focus and just drive and work whenever you want. Let's say you have a 9-to-5 job and you want to drive, let's say on the weekends to make some side cash, whatever the case is. And the second thing, and in my opinion, the most underrated one about driving is the fact that there's instant cash outs. In case you didn't know, you can drive for, let's say, 2-3 hours or whatever. Let's say you make 50, 60, let's say $70. You hit a button and that money is instantly in your bank account, which is kind of convenient. So let's say you want to have money for that night. Let's say you need to pay off a bill super fast. You turn on the app, you go out and drive, make that money, hit that button. It's instantly in your bank account, and then you can pay it off. So that's kind of good. The second thing I will say is I think part-time versus full-time. If you're going to be primarily driving full-time, I think, of course, it's 100% worth it, right? It's kind of the steps you have to take to drive. On the other end, I can see, let's say if you're like, Mark, I just want to drive 5 to 10 hours a week. That's it. I'm just looking for like a few extra hours. Is it worth it? It is tough to say, right, for those few extra hours. But point number 3 I want to say is, remember, you do this once. Yes, your car does have to get inspected periodically here and there, but all this kind of big stuff you have to do to sign up as a Lyft driver, most of it you really have to do right in the beginning. As I showed you, you get all this done, you sign up, and then you have these periodic checks here and there to make sure your vehicle is running correctly, so on and so forth.